Will your job completely disappear in exactly 3 years, and will just 3 massive corporate giants basically dictate the future for all of humanity? We're skipping all the fluff today, guys, because the survival window is closing incredibly fast. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're breaking down a really hardcore, high-density interview from the Liberman brothers. They're founders and investors who are sounding a massive alarm on artificial intelligence, corporate monopolies, and the stark physical reality of the next 36 months.
So look directly at the reality of this question right here. Will your job disappear in 3 years? The Liberman brothers explicitly state that every single job is going to be disrupted. For software engineers, well, that disruption happened first. But for physical professions, the adaptation window is exactly 5 to 10 years as robots literally move into factories and well beyond. The clock is absolutely ticking, and you really need to understand exactly who is controlling the timeline.
And that brings us to the second, most dangerous question extracted straight from this interview. Will 3 companies control 70% of humanity's future? The stakes of this explainer are entirely grounded in this reality. Look, if artificial intelligence becomes a cheap, freely accessible commodity, our individual productivity quadruples. But if big tech firms successfully gatekeep this access, our freedom and our economic independence will be entirely absorbed by these corporate giants.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The illusion of AI control.
You might think the brilliant scientists and researchers writing the code are the ones steering the ship, right? Actually, scratch that. It's a complete illusion. As the Libermans point out, people who built it, people who brought their values into this, they are not in control anymore. These highly advanced AI companies are moving toward becoming publicly traded entities. That means they are instantly beholden to stakeholders and massive corporate trusts. The idealistic engineers who originally wanted open access, yeah, they're absolutely no longer the ones making the ultimate decisions about artificial scarcity or pricing.
Let's look at the hard data here. Dario Amodei is the founder of Anthropic and the creator of the incredibly advanced Claude model. Do you know what his actual ownership share of his own company is? It is exactly 1.5%. Just 1.5%. The founders and the brilliant minds building the very architecture of our future have effectively lost control of their own creations.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real bottleneck. It isn't just about who writes the code, it's the physical hardware. Google, Microsoft, and Amazon currently combined own 65 to 70% of global cloud compute, so they effectively own 70% of our future infrastructure. If they coordinate their efforts or simply raise prices simultaneously, they instantly absorb the entire margin of your increased productivity.
Section 2. The fake open source trap.
Globally, consumers are being tricked under the guise of open access. We're seeing US-based companies rapidly closing off access to models that used to be wide open. But what's happening overseas is a highly calculated corporate trick operating at a government level. Chinese developers are releasing what they call open-weight models. They lure in global users to compete with American models, but these models are totally fake open source. After a month or two, they strictly lock the access so it can only run on their own Chinese servers, using Chinese data centers powered by Chinese chips. It's a classic bait-and-switch designed to monopolize global user data and compute dependency.
Moving on to Part 3, AI empathy versus human delays. We're actually seeing AI outperform humans in totally unexpected ways in the physical world. The Libermans share a perfect anecdote about this. For 3 exact years, they suffered in their house with no hot water. Plumbers came out multiple times and advised them they needed to replace the entire heating system. We're talking a massively expensive job. Finally, they simply pointed their camera at the piping system and asked the AI what was wrong. The AI instantly identified that they were missing one small pipe that would close a loop. After 3 years of human failure, the AI solved a physical engineering problem in seconds, allowing the plumber to fix it instantly on the very first try. And it's not just physical labor either, it's emotional intelligence. Multi-billion-dollar banking systems have already completely laid off their offshore call centers in places like India and the Philippines. Why? Well, because when dealing with people in debt, human debt collectors cause friction, and frankly, they get avoided. The banks replaced them entirely with AI because the AI agents proved to be far more empathetic. They dive deeper into the human being's specific situation and successfully help them restructure their debt without any judgment. So AI is physically proving to be more empathetic than humans in high-stress service jobs.
Which brings us to Part 4, the decentralized resistance.
So the crucial point is this. If corporations own the compute, and AI is taking over both physical problem-solving and empathetic services, what is our defense? We must build a micro data center grid.
Just as people are disconnecting from centralized power grids by installing off-grid home solar panels and connecting them to home battery technologies, this exact model is coming to AI. Step by step, companies are providing services to build micro data centers inside individual houses. Every single home solar panel and battery can power a node. Together, this creates a massive, community-run, decentralized AI cloud that completely bypasses that 70% monopoly of Google, Microsoft, and Amazon.
To survive the next 2 years as operating systems and coding languages are entirely rewritten from scratch, the Libermans lay out exact, unsummarized daily actions you can take right now. First, replace exactly 1 hour of watching Netflix or browsing Instagram with deploying and testing AI tools. Second, host 1-hour dinner hackathons with your non-technical friends to build mobile software together, right at the dinner table. And finally, stop typing. This is literally the first technology that speaks our language. Talk to your computer.
All right, let's wrap this up with Part 5, the mandatory ending sequence.
Let's lock in the highest density facts you need to survive. Here is your core facts review. Memorize these exact metrics. Founder power, just 1.5%, which is Dario Amadei's exact stake in Anthropic. Big tech monopoly, 65 to 70% of global cloud compute is strictly controlled by 3 companies. And your adaptation window, you have exactly 5 to 10 years before the complete disruption of physical jobs hits the market.
Which leads us directly to today's takeaway, the single underlying logic of this entire explainer. Decentralizing physical hardware into home microdata centers is the absolute only defense against the total corporate AI monopoly.
And now, I am turning this directly over to you for a hardcore debate. Are decentralized home micro data centers a genius design for human freedom, or are they a massive pitfall because of personal hardware and electricity costs? I want you to pick a side based on the facts we just covered. Leave a comment below with your specific debate answer right now. The moment you drop your argument in the comments, you'll trigger our system to receive our ultimate AI survival mind map. So get in the comments, start building your micro data center knowledge, and prepare for the next 3 years. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you guys next time.